Okay, hello everyone. Happy Sunday. God bless you. I hope everybody's been having a great time. Okay, so today I'm going to have to redo some things that I have done before, and I haven't uploaded them because I was having a problem uploading them. Then I tried to cut and slice, and all that didn't work, so I was like, just do it again. So that is what I'm going to do. So I believe the last chapter before me messing up everything was, we're going to do Isaac and Abimelech. Okay? So we are reading in chapter 26 of Genesis in the NIV version of the Bible. Look, you guys, like I'm liking my hair. It's getting longer. Actually, to be honest, I just cut all this off. But I'm like, I like it. I do really like it. I think I'm gonna do this for a minute. I'm gonna let it. I cut a lot off too because it was a lot. And I was, I normally wear curly, and it was just getting so big. And I just have to get comfortable with my hair certain ways. And so I am getting comfortable, especially with the gray. Like, it's different when it's like that and it's dark. But now that it's gray, I have to, you gotta love what your hair looks like. And so I'm really embracing this, and I don't think it's awful. I really am liking it. I'm liking it. You know what I'm saying? The Lord did his little color thing. He's the master colorist. So he colored my hair, and now it's time for me to embrace and work it. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, back to Genesis 26. Okay, you ready? Here we go. Now, there was a famine in the land besides the earlier famine of Abraham's time. And Isaac went to Abimelech, king of the Philistines, to Gerar. The Lord appeared to Isaac and said, "Do not go down to Egypt. Live in the land where I tell you to live. Stay in this land for a while, and I will be with you and will bless you. For to you and your descendants I will give all these lands and will confirm the oath I swore to your father Abraham. I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and will give them all these lands. And through your offspring, all nations of the earth will be blessed, because Abraham obeyed me and kept my requirements, my commands, my decrees, and my laws. So Isaac stayed in Gerar." When the men of that place asked him about his wife, he said, "She is my sister," because he was afraid to say, "She is my wife." He thought the men of this place might kill me on account of Rebekah, because she is beautiful. When Isaac had been there a long time, Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked down from a window and saw Isaac caressing his wife Rebekah. So Abimelech summoned Isaac and said, "She is really your wife? Why do you say she is my sister?" Isaac answered him, "Because I thought I might lose my life on account of her." Then Abimelech said, "What is this you have done to us? One of the men might well have slept with your wife, and you would have brought guilt upon us." So Abimelech gave orders to all the people, "Anyone who molests this man or his wife shall surely be put to death." Hold on. So remember I said that once I read Genesis, I realized that everything that has been done, I basically feel like, good and bad, I feel like it's somewhere in Genesis, or you see a sign that it was going on in the world at that time. And he said, anyone who lets this man or his wife, meaning that people were molesting back then. They molested wives. Men, I shouldn't say wives, men and women. Yeah. So, wow. So that was going on, but there was an order given not to molest him. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Isaac planted crops in that land, and the same year reaped 100-fold because the Lord blessed him. The man became rich, and his wealth continued to grow until he became very wealthy. He had so many flocks and herds and servants, the Philistines envied him. So all the wells that his father's servants had dug in the time of his father Abraham, the Philistines stopped up, filling them with earth. Then Abimelech said to Isaac, "Move away from us. You have become too powerful for us." Okay, so that's something like, and I believe that, like, even sometimes when people live together, like, when your children get older and they become wise too, and it's like, y'all can't stay in the same house. It just is what it is. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a growth thing, and that we have to be okay with that. You know what I mean? And bless it, especially when it's done the right way, decently, and in order. Especially when it's done the right way, we just have to embrace it. Just like I'm embracing this gray hair. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's some things you're just gonna have to embrace. You can fight them as long as you want to, but it's like they still come back like a gnat. It'll come back until you absolutely kill it. And what's the alternative? Because sometimes people just have such a thing about getting older. You know what I mean? And I like to say getting older instead of getting old, because I just feel like I'm never gonna just be like just so old that like I'm gonna crumble. Like how maybe a piece of metal, once it gets old, then it gets rusty, and then it just starts deteriorating. I don't feel like that's gonna happen to me. It didn't It don't sound like it happened to Abraham and Isaac and all them. I mean, certain things happen, but they didn't just crumble. You know what I mean? So I feel like growing older, we can grow older gracefully. We can fight the system, or we can just, what's the alternative? Death. So if you're still here, why not desire to grow older gracefully and embrace the change and ask God how to deal with the change His way? And I'm sure it would not be harsh or hard. But anyway, let me keep reading, because I will be talking this whole taping. Okay, so Isaac moved away from there and encamped in the valley of Gerar and settled there. Isaac reopened the wells that had been dug in the time of his father Abraham, which the Philistines had stopped up after Abraham died, and he gave them the same names his father had given them. Isaac's servants dug in the valley and discovered a well of fresh water there. But the herdsmen of Gerar quarreled with Isaac's herdsmen and said, "The water is ours." So he named the well Esek, because they disputed with him. Then they dug another well, but they quarreled over that one also, so he named it Sitnah. He moved on from there and dug another well, and no one quarreled over it. He named it Rehoboth, or Rehoboth, saying, "Now the Lord has given us room, and we will flourish in the land." From there he went up to Beersheba. That night the Lord appeared to him and said, "I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bless you and will increase the number of your descendants for the sake of my servant Abraham." Isaac built an altar there and called on the name of the Lord. There he pitched his tent, and there his servants dug a well. Meanwhile, Abimelech had come to him from Gerar with Ahuzah, his personal advisor, and Phicol, the commander of his forces. Isaac asked them, "Why have you come to me, since you were hostile to me and sent me away?" They answered, "We saw clearly that the Lord was with you. So we said, there ought to be a sworn agreement between us and you. Let us make a treaty with you that you will do us no harm, just as we did not molest you, but always treated you well and sent you away in peace. And now you are blessed by the Lord." Isaac then made a feast for them, and they ate and drank. Early the next morning, the men swore an oath to each other. Then Isaac sent them on their way, and they left him in peace. That day, Isaac's servants came and told him about the well they had dug. They said, "We found water." He called it Sheba, And to this day, the name of the town has been Beersheba. When Esau was 40 years old, he married Judah, daughter of Beri the Hittite, and also Basemath, daughter of Elon the Hittite. They were a source of grief to Isaac and Rebekah. Ooh. So, who you marry can be grief to your parents. I get that, and I feel like I've seen it before. Where people just don't like who either one of them, their child's married. Oh gosh, I am so sorry, but I don't know where that came from. I am really tired, but I'm excited to do this because I haven't done it in a while and I feel like I should be doing it more often. And so I'm excited to do this. I'm looking forward to doing chapter 27, 28, 29, 30, and on and on and on and on. So I will see you next time. I hope you got something out of this one. I'm sorry, let me recap, because there's some things like the fact that because of Abraham, Isaac is blessed. The fact that Isaac lied just like his father lied about his wife. Or I don't want to say lied, because Abraham, she really was his sister. But they feared, which is why they didn't say, this is my wife. They said, this is my sister. And how Isaac did the exact same thing. And how, to me, I can see, I'm not going to call that a generational curse, but sometimes the child the child has the same opportunity, and you have a choice to do exactly what your parent did, whether it be good or bad, right or wrong. You still have that choice, just like they had the choice to make. So because I have children, I try my best to conquer the things I need to conquer, but when I see them going through the same thing, I try to give them wise counsel and tell them to seek the Lord about what to do, so that if it's something that I failed in, they will definitely not fail. So that's another thing. And then how the Lord was with Isaac and he protected him, he and his family. So just know that if God is with you, nobody can really mess with you unless he allows it. You know what I'm saying? So that's something to be excited about. And I'm very excited about that. So you go where he tells you to go. Now he'll tell you, just like he said, don't go to Egypt. So he'll tell you where to go and where not to go. And you know. Just like them quarreling over the wells. It was like, he just moved on to another one. Then when they found one where there was water, there was no quarreling, there was this, that, and the other, that it was like the favor was there for them. They realized this is where we're supposed to be. So I wanted to point all those things out, because we have to start looking at God that way and looking at our lives that way. When you're sometimes I'm somewhere, if my favor starts running out, I'm like, oh, it must be time for me to go. I remember when I had my daughter, it was at a hospital that people kept speaking negatively of, and I started to change it, but I didn't feel like, it's like my mind wanted to change it because of what I was hearing, but it just didn't never happen, right? I lived maybe 10 minutes from the hospital where I had my daughter. Had I moved to a different hospital, I probably would have had her in the car, because things happened so fast. They were rushing me so fast. I didn't have time to go to any other hospital. And so while I was there, I felt like, oh, these people are nice. They were really nice. And it was funny because the day they asked me, did I want to go home, all the other nurses were so nice. And then this lady came in and she was being a little rough. And I was like, oh, she said, oh, but you can go home if I want to go home. Because I knew my favor was running out. And I was like, because I don't know if this is going to be pretty. I just had my baby. I don't want no issues. You know what I'm saying? So I left. And so just to share with you, when your favor's up, when you know it's season up, and sometimes we stay thinking, well, I got to tough it out. If it's time to go, it's time to go. Now, there is a time to stay. There's a time to plant. There's a time to water. And it's a time to pluck up and receive the harvest. And when it's time to leave, leave. Period. Point blank, as the kids say. Okay, so I will see you next time. God bless you all.